diversity of what we're going to get in terms of all the speakers. And so with that, I will begin, and I'm going to give you some time-based sheets, and you'll know when to finish, and they're each going to be speaking for 30 minutes. Okay.
I appreciate that. I talk a lot, and I talk very quickly, so I appreciate the flag. My name is Brittany. We'll call Fridas Morel. Fridas is my Portuguese name. I am half Portuguese. Fridas means built upon broken stones. And so that's a great deal of my heritage is from that portion. My grandmother is the late Dorothy Robertson. She is Cherokee and Blackfoot. And my family I grew up military. So I didn't really have a lot of connections with actually being immersed in my culture or my heritage from either part. And so as I grew up and started exploring who I was as an individual, it became very important to me to try to revisit that and to learn. One of the benefits, though, of growing up military is that I spent the majority of my life overseas in different countries, living and exploring different cultures. Welcome. So I have a lot of interest in looking at cultures, specifically looking at healing in different cultures and different practices that promote well-being and wellness. And so my research is really geared towards this. The research that I'll be presenting today is research that I conducted when I was finishing up my master's in clinical psychology here at the University of Alaska Anchorage. And I'm currently enrolled in their PhD program, which is a joint PhD program with UAA, which is the University of Alaska Anchorage, as well as UAF, or the University of Alaska Fairbanks. So that program is a clinical community program with a rural and indigenous emphasis. And it's a really unique program because it gives us the experiences of being not only a joint program, but also telehealth technology, which is also an interest of mine. So as we're going through this, my future direction of research will hopefully be examining different types of aspects that contribute to overall mental health and mental well-being that exist outside of what we traditionally see it as Western forms of psychological care. So if there's any questions, comments, any type of personal experience that you have that might be important or informative to my kind of research or my interests, I would greatly appreciate you sharing that to help me kind of just guide my future research when I finish my dissertation and end. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I do talk quickly, so if I'm talking too quickly, you can give me a little hand gesture or something and I'll know to slow down. So this research, like I was saying, I started in my master's program. I had a very small sample size of about 30 Alaska Native students who were self-identified Alaska Native. And so I finished my master's and decided that I wanted to pursue getting a larger group of students to see if it continued to show the results that we had. So this is that data, which I just finished wrapping up last week. So this study looked at predicting attitudes and intentions towards seeking professional psychological health among Alaska Native students. The professional psychological health that I might reference is talking purely about Western forms of psychological care as we know it. So not really integrating any of the traditional practices or spirituality or other types of factors that might influence good, healthy care and well-being. So, my research, I kind of briefly talked about this. Most of my research is geared towards treatment outcome research. So looking at what types of treatment produces the best and longest stabilization of individuals' mental well-being and care. So one of the things that greatly influences my decision to pursue this program here at UAA and UAF and this type of research is that as I've worked in clinical practice with clients, I've noticed that culture plays a very big part in our well-being and our self-identity. So I wanted to explore how we can start to integrate those types of factors into treatment, into what we know as Western forms of treatment, so that it can better predict outcomes for individuals, and so that it's just culturally appropriate and fits the needs, values, and preferences of the individual. So this is just a quote that stuck with me through one of my readings that talks about utilizing traditional healers for culturally appropriate treatment. And I think that's very, very important. So what do we know about mental health, specifically with Alaska Native populations? Not much. There's not much research out there that's well done. Quite a bit of it is biased, or they incorporate or lump cultures together in one umbrella culture. So not only do they lump Alaska Native cultures all under one umbrella, but they also lump them with American Indian cultures, which are vastly different. So we see many differences in between the groups amongst different types of tribal entities or cultural identifications. So this is one of the problems that I encounter in research continuously, is that we see that cultures are broadly lumped together and they're not really individualized. So that's one of the things that my research hopes to address. An additional thing is that Western forms of care that we do have, services that are available, are underutilized, not only by Alaska Native populations, but many minority populations in the country, in the United States. Even when those services are available, we're not seeing many clients actually taking the treatments. So why is that? So this research really was just kind of